from ignorance to full consciousness, the 5 levels of awakening of the spirit. What stage of spiritual evolution do you believe you are in? All stages have the same importance for full consciousness. The daily routine is full of tasks, obligations, repetitions. The process often becomes mechanical and the opportunity to learn is wasted.
Licensing reimagined.
The challenges that arise become burdens, obstacles in the mind of those who face them. What we don't realize is that these challenges happen for a spiritual reason associated with our emotional interests, with our spiritual evolution towards full consciousness. After all, nothing happens by chance. From the moment our consciousness leaves the state of drowsiness and inertia and passes to the first level of awakening, we begin our evolutionary journey of no return, in which we discover that for all types of problems, there is an effective spiritual solution. Let's go further. In fact, we discover that the problems simply do not exist. But reaching the highest level of awakening is an arduous task, full of ups and downs. Spirits go through different stages of evolution, with changes in perception about themselves, other spirits with which they interact, and the cosmos itself. All stages have the same importance for the evolution of human consciousness. All spirits pass through each of them. We will try to exemplify them in this text, but remember that there are no recipes or shortcuts for awakening. Each of us traces a path, the result of a summary of our experiences and learnings. The main levels of spiritual awakening. 1. Full consciousness, ignorance. At this first level, the human being has no awareness of his spirit. He doesn't know where he came from, how he got there, where he's going. You have no idea about the meaning of life. Like a body without a soul, it follows social standards without any reflection or questioning. It is a phase that resembles a deep sleep. He is extremely linked to material issues and, when looking at others, he sees him as an opponent, as an obstacle to be overcome in order to achieve objectives linked to matter. Therefore, happiness at this stage is directly related to external factors, to having. When it fails to achieve its objectives, the spirit chooses to assume the role of victim. Emotions dominate reason and prevent the being at this level of awakening from experiencing the true reality of the world around them. But awakening begins from the moment this being, after going through phases related to survival, security, carnal and material pleasure, begins to realize that such achievements are not enough and begins to question itself about the real meaning of existence. The realization that there is something greater than the challenges, distractions and temptations that exist in the material world is the sign that awakening has finally begun. This phase can be very painful as it triggers feelings of frustration towards the world and even symptoms of depression. 2. The doubt. In this phase of awakening, the spirit questions the world around it. Previously completely dominated by the material world, he now begins to perceive this type of life as a reality without real connection, without value. Social rules and all existing beliefs no longer make sense as before, and the search for answers and self-knowledge becomes a priority. At this stage, human beings seek to better understand the world in which they live. They feel displaced, confused, and still have the tendency to blame others for their own problems, caused by their own decisions and actions, whether family, friends, or institutions. As he stopped being a mere spectator and began to question, here the spirit abandons the role of victim and assumes another, that of survivor, in the midst of a world full, in his eyes, of injustice. Even having acquired the power to question, at this stage the human being is still not completely free from the influencing power of certain limiting beliefs, much less from social approval for their actions. In this way, it tries to fit into the determined rules and standards. 3. Full consciousness, self-knowledge. This level of awakening can be understood as the beginning of real awareness of spiritual transformation. During this process of self-knowledge, human beings seek seclusion to be able to hear what their soul says more clearly. There is a break here with values pre-established by society.
Music licensing reimagined.
It is as if the blindfold had been removed from his eyes throughout his entire existence, and the world, previously full of gray, began to finally acquire more colorful contours. Learning in this phase is characterized by bringing together contradictory feelings of relief and anguish. Relief at being able to better understand the world we live in, and anguish when we put people in social positions in the background. Faith and spirituality develop, and the soul begins to understand laws of cause and effect. Therefore it begins to understand what karma means. Beings with the same vibrational pattern come closer due to affinity, and beings with different patterns move away. That is why the third level can bring suffering when the being that passes through it tries to awaken the knowledge acquired to other beings that are not yet in the same vibrational pattern. The feeling of displacement in the world increases, but evolution is continuous and irreversible. At this level there is a lot of internal work that is often frightening.
Artlist.io.
4. The real spiritual awakening. This level is characterized by the duel between the vices of the physical world and the values of the spiritual world. Detachment arises through the full awareness of spiritual awakening, the awareness of the existence of immaterial light. The values learned are perfected, and life is valued in its entirety. There is no longer room for wounds or any type of pain, only the interest in spiritual evolution. Negative energy is released, and the being experiences peace. Any doubt or suffering experienced on the 3 previous levels is dispelled by the certainty of faith, of the existence of a higher power. There is no more room for resentment, hatred, inferior feelings. In this phase, the being experiences the union of their spirit with the upper layers. 5. Full consciousness. Level 5 marks the beginning of nirvana. Souls no longer feel hurt or resentment, and are now guided by inspiration and no longer by emotion. It is the recovery of the true identity of the infinite, of the divine being.
Artlist.io.
At this stage, the human being goes beyond the limits of matter and reconnects with the universe. It is the true and literal reunion with God. the Creator's kingdom opens up and begins to be explored. At this
Music
stage,
licensing
the spirit
reimagined.
takes control of its capabilities and takes over the construction of the life it intends to follow. Intuition promotes direct connection with the divine. If at initial levels the spirit felt trapped by rules imposed by society and institutions, now it is completely free. Abandon the past. Don't think about the future. Live intensely in the present. Enlightenment is a determining factor in life on
Artlist
planet
IO.
Earth, but it does not represent the end of a journey. In fact, upon reaching level 5, the true spiritual experience begins, as this level represents the door to the return of a freed, conscious and self-realized spirit.
Music licensing reimagined.
Spirit that finds the door to cosmic totality where countless universes coexist. Now, let's stop here. I hope your spiritual elevation is better than you imagine. If you've made it this far, type "I'm better than yesterday" below. Thanks.